We tend to think of technology as just a tool, something that makes our lives easier, maybe a little faster. But what if it's doing something more? What if it's fundamentally changing the very organ we use to think? In this explainer, we're going to dig into how our technology is literally rewiring our brains. So let me start with a simple fact, one that might be a little unsettling. The brain inside your head right now is wired differently than the brains of your great-grandparents, or even your parents. And look, we're not talking about that slow, gradual crawl of biological evolution that takes thousands and thousands of years. Nope, this change is happening much, much faster. The thing responsible for all this, and hey, maybe it's the hero of the story, maybe the villain, is technology. It doesn't just sit on our desks or in our pockets. It actually gets inside our heads and changes the wiring. Okay, so how is that even possible? Well, to get our heads around this, we need to talk about this incredible feature our brains have, something that makes all this change possible. The magic word here is neuroplasticity. The easiest way to think about it is that your brain is like a muscle. The parts you use get stronger, and the parts you don't, well, they get weaker. Every single thing you do, every skill you practice, carves out and strengthens pathways in your brain. You are literally sculpting your own mind every day. And you know what? This whole thing, this partnership between our brains and our tech, it's not new at all. Humans have been giving themselves mental software upgrades with technology for a very, very long time. Take fire, for example. Mastering fire wasn't just about staying warm. When we started cooking food, it made it way easier to digest. All that energy our bodies used to spend just breaking down raw food was suddenly freed up. And guess where a ton of that extra energy went? Straight to one very hungry organ, our brain. Fire literally fueled our cognitive growth. Or think about making a simple stone tool. That's not just physical labor. It's a whole mental workout. You have to visualize the tool in your mind before it even exists. You have to plan the sequence of strikes, and then you have to coordinate your hands to make it happen. That process strengthened the neural circuits for planning, for foresight, for problem solving. Our own tools were teaching us how to think ahead. And then came writing. Wow, now this was a game changer. In cultures without writing, memory was everything. It was an internal skill you had to train relentlessly. But once we could write things down, we started to outsource our memory. We didn't have to hold all that information inside our heads anymore. We just had to know where to go look it up. This freed our minds up for other kinds of thinking for sure, but it also completely changed our relationship with memory itself. So if those early technologies were like slow, steady software updates over the centuries, then what we're living through now is a total system overhaul happening at lightning speed. Just think about the humble light bulb. For all of human history, our biology was tied to the rise and fall of the sun. And then, almost overnight, we could just flick a switch and conquer the darkness. That fundamentally rewired our sleep cycles, our body clocks, our ancient natural rhythms. Which, of course, brings us to the smartphone. This little device is probably the most potent brain-altering tool we've ever created. And you can see the echoes of the past, right? Just like with writing, we don't remember phone numbers. We just remember where to find them. We don't build mental maps of a city. We let GPS do the navigating for us. But it goes so much deeper. All those constant notifications are chopping our attention into tiny little pieces, and the endless scroll of social media is literally rewiring our brain's reward system, our dopamine pathways. So what's the end result of all this? What have we trained our brains to do? Well, you could pretty much sum it up like this. Our brains now crave speed, stimulation, and validation. We've developed a hunger for constant, fast-paced digital feedback. But just when we think we've got a handle on it, the game changes again. We are now entering a totally new era, where our technology doesn't just help us think, it starts to do the thinking for us. And here's what makes artificial intelligence a whole different beast. See, a book just stores information. A calculator just performs a function. But AI can perform complex cognitive tasks. It can write an essay, analyze a spreadsheet, create a business plan. For the first time ever, we are beginning to outsource the very act of thinking. So, this incredibly fast-paced dance between our adaptable brains and our super smart tools, it brings us all to one really big, critical question. Are these amazing tools actually augmenting our intelligence, turning us into some kind of new, enhanced human? Or Are we just letting our own mental muscles wither away, becoming completely dependent on the machines we built? And here is why all of this matters so much. This process, this rewiring of your brain, is happening right now, whether you pay attention to it or not. Every app you open, every device you use is a training session. The only real choice we have in the matter is how consciously we engage with it. Understanding that, well, that's the first step to actually shaping our own cognitive future.
So I'll leave you with this. Are we consciously building a better brain, or are we just building a fancy crutch that one day we might not be able to walk without? The answer is going to define what it means to think.